Let me know if you guys can hear me. There should be a chat box somewhere on your screen. And you can let me know. Just type in that chat box. Chat box. All good. Okay, perfect. Okay. Thank you, Janet. So what I'm going to do here is I've got to give you guys access to my desktop. So I'm going to flip this on. Perfect. And this is recording, which is great. I'm going to take and shoot this over to the side, put the chat on. That's great. I can see you guys. Close this screen over. Okay, and you guys can see my screen here. No problem. Right now I've got the VitaBot screen on. Nope, squished. Ah, it's squished. It's really small. Interesting. Why is it really small? Is there a way that you can click on it and make it bigger on your end somehow? Mine looks normal. Oh, Debbie's has got hers good. It's fine on mine. Yep. Yeah, it might be something on your side that you just got to click it to expand it, because right now it is, it's about 80% of my screen. I just have the little chat happening on the side so I can see what sort of questions you guys are asking. So first off, good job making it on to the webinar. We always find that those who can find the time to get on the webinar or at least review the webinar had to hit the plus button. There you go. So everybody it's small on there, just hit that plus button. As I was saying, everybody who makes it onto the webinar or finds time to review the webinar usually does better in our challenges. And we have some veteran challenges who've done several challenges, and they still find that this half an hour, 45 minutes, even an hour helps them, gets them back on track, remotivates them, inspires them, and they always take something away from it, right? We're always learning, and I'm always learning from you guys too. So I'm taking notes as there's any things that pop up that I don't have an answer for. I certainly will go get that answer because someone's going to ask it down the road, no doubt. So you guys made it through week one. Week one was all about the basics. It was about mindset and goals. Hopefully you've done that. You've written down your goals. They are very clear to you. You have a concrete understanding of why you are doing what you're doing. Something so rock solid that nothing could shake it. Oftentimes, when we speak of family and kids and our significant others, that is probably one of the absolute best reasons to make a change in your life and make it stick. And there's also previous family. So if you have a family history of certain things, diabetes, heart disease, and whatnot, they should motivate you to take your life into your hands and start following some good nutrition and movement to keep yourself healthy. So hopefully you've done that. You've also taken some time to learn a little bit about the program and the basics that we went over in week one. Number one was simplicity of water, getting in that 2.5 to 3.5 liters of water a day. The recent stuff I was reading is putting up a female minimum to, some people use the half body weight in ounces, which is a great start point. I think over 70 to 80% of society is underhydrated or dehydrated, and we have a lot of problems because of that. But we're seeing now that they're using in and around 2.7 liters for females, with the guys upwards of 3.5 to 3.7. So just don't tell Dave Page that, because I know he already loves his water. Water's key. Make sure that's the first and foremost liquid that you're getting on a daily basis. Coffee and tea are fine as well as your protein shakes if you're supplementing with protein. The coffee, the tea, the protein shakes, that water does count. You are not. It is a diuretic. It does remove some water from the body, but as we said in the last webinar, never to a negative effect. So if you drink 250 ml coffee, rather than assimilate and utilize that full 250 mils, you might only take in 235 to 230. You're never going to be at a negative, so it would never negate the entire 250 and then rob you of further water within your system. So you're totally fine there. If you're doing the coffee, hopefully you're experimenting with less and less sugar and sweetener. If you are using sweetener, using stevia, trying to stay a little bit away from the honey, because that is very sugary as well. You've elected to maybe change from milk, which has a lot of sugar in it. Hopefully you've looked at the side of a milk carton and you're now understanding that milk or sugar is basically everywhere. But you're considering cream and the full fat table cream, the 18% cream, because our body can handle fat much better than it can sugar. There's less of a sort of a negative response or an inflammatory response within the body when we do that. Hopefully you've gotten rid of any things like pops, which are all negative and provide no nutritional value. Fruit juices, even though they're, apple juice, orange juice, they say they're from concentrate. They have all these great vitamins in them. You're better off just having some fruit or some vegetables. There's way too much sugar added to this stuff these days. And alcohol, hopefully we've nipped a bit of that in the bud. We're decreasing the amount. Reading more on it just the other day, that there's calories in it, right? And if you're going to eat something and consume calories in a day, it better have some other positive and beneficial effects to it. Things like vegetables, things like your proteins and your fruit. The alcohol, just, it has nothing in it. It's calories, and as we said, one drink leads to the next, and then we sort of start sloughing off, going to workouts the next day. So try to do without it if you can. You're certainly going to get better results if you stay away from it. Beyond that, hopefully we've started to increase our protein as well. We're looking at all sources of protein. A lot of people are saying they're tired of chicken. Friends, you don't just have to eat chicken. My number one cleanest source, best source of protein is going to be your eggs, egg whites, and your fish, your white fish. These are such clean, easily digestible, quickly assimilated components of protein, and they have a lot of branched chain amino acids, which are what we need to build up those muscle tissue within our body, to raise our metabolism, to keep us satiated so we're not getting hungry all the time. Beyond that, you look to the ground turkey, clean ground turkey, lean turkey. You've got the chicken, right? And then you've got your beef and some types of pork. You can get some protein from different types of meat. There's like venison and there's bison and there's all this great stuff out there. So you're not just stuck on chicken. If you were going to do a fitness competition, maybe that's when you get into weeks of just chicken, fish, and egg whites. But right now, just look at all the different sources of protein that you can utilize, because there's lots out there. Besides that, vegetables, getting 6 servings a day. Hopefully you're doing that. From everybody who's sending in their reports, I see you're doing very well. With a cup of vegetables here, a cup of vegetables there, and you're getting in those 6 per day, which is brilliant because you're getting so many vitamins, so many minerals. You're getting good amounts of fiber. You're getting good antioxidants from all of this stuff here, stuff that's really going to make you feel better. And I've had so many challengers in the last week I've talked to that said, they've got this energy they've never had before, and it's incredible. And more stuff that I'm reading now, it starts to question the benefit of vitamins and saying really vitamins are for people who aren't getting the nutrients they need from whole healthy foods. Now, if you're getting 6 servings of vegetables a day, I say you're pretty close to absolutely, getting what you need on a daily basis if you're mixing them up. Certainly if you're just having broccoli all day long, maybe not, but experiment, right? Use all the different colors of the rainbow when you start to select your vegetables. A little bit more towards the green ones, because we know that there's a little bit of less of a carb load on those, but try to get a bunch of different colors in there because they're all beneficial and they're good for you. Hopefully you're controlling your fruits, trying to minimize the fruits. You can use them here and there when you feel like you need that sweet, or you want that, when you would have had a cookie or, a cupcake or a donut or something really, really sugary, reach for just a small handful of berries. Keep some blueberries and blackberries and raspberries and strawberries in your fridge, because these things are great. You can keep them frozen, right? You can do like little quarter cup and half cups, measure them out and freeze them in little Ziploc bags. You can throw them in your shake. You can blend them up. They're great because if you're making like a post-workout shake, you can get protein in your water or your unsweetened almond milk in there, and then throw in like a half baggie, like a half a cup of these blueberries and blackberries and fruits and strawberries and frozen, right? And so it gives you that icy taste, which is great, but you're also getting the benefits of these good low fructose fruits. Hopefully you're controlling all the other grainy type carbohydrates, which aren't certainly bad. There is a benefit to them, and we'll talk more about that. But right now, remember, the idea was to just get you off of all that stuff, to try to give the pancreas a little bit of a break, to get insulin more responsive. So when we start to add in carbs later on this weekend and next week, that your body may handle them just a little bit better, right? And we start to realize, and you will after this cheat, we'll talk about the cheat, that we probably don't need as much of the carbohydrates, the breads, the pastas, the cereals, the muffins, the bagels that we normally eat. It's a lot of useless stuff. Sure, it gives us calories, but it's not as beneficial as the proteins are, as the vegetables are, and even some of the fruits. So we'll chat about that too. And then the different types of starchy vegetables that you're going to start to want to consume as we get into next week. Besides that, you've got your healthy fats. Hopefully you've found a coconut oil that works for you. It is the absolute best oil to consume. So many benefits for it. It raises your metabolism. It's such a high, clean source of calories and healthy fats. Coconut oil is what they're serving now, or what they're feeding people in burn units in hospitals, because they need to get calories in to start to repair their tissue. And this is one of the cleanest, most calorie-packed forms of energy that you can consume is coconut oil. It's great for cooking because it doesn't get all smoky on you. If you're looking at your oils, your avocado oil and your extra virgin olive oil, those are great for salads, but coconut oil is so brilliant for cooking. So you can put it in a pan and cook your vegetables in there. You can, little scoops of coconut oil on your, you can warm it up, you can pour it on your salads, you can put it on your vegetables when you're broiling them in the oven, get a nice crisp on them, is great too. And then you add a little bit of seasoning and they're great. And then you've got your fish oil as well, right? Find a fish oil that works for you. Try the liquid. The liquid is much more potent and better, and it's going to have a better effect as far as promoting fat loss and overall health than the pills will, because you'll have to consume just so many pills because the components are just so small in those. So make sure you're getting those as well. And then just a mix of other good healthy fats. Your nuts, you can get your walnuts and your almonds. You can look at different types of nut butters. We always recommend an almond butter over a peanut butter just because it's got more nutritional value in it than the peanut, which is a little bit more sort of useless. You can look at avocado, which is great. A half an avocado with breakfast is brilliant, with your eggs and a piece of bacon. As I said, nuts throughout the day. Other great sources, you can get all your oils that you can try out and try. There's so many different types of oils, right? There's walnut oil and avocado oil and extra virgin olive oil, and you can try all these and they give you little different flavors, which is really, really cool too. So hopefully you've done that. You're getting an understanding. You're using the VitaBot a little bit more to pre-plan your food. And if it's not perfect yet, remember I said nobody was going to be perfect by the end of week 1, let alone week 2. But in week 3, we start to move in the direction of, okay, let's really get going on this. And that's why we've given you the first 2 weeks to just get a grasp on the basics, because there are still some members who are challenged by this nutrition program that are a little bit confused, and that's what we want to be able to clear up with some of the information tonight, some of the questions that you're going to ask. Because as we approach later on in this week, by Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to start to ask you what stream you might see yourself in as far as nutrition goes, and I'll talk a little bit about that right now. So the two options we have, and we've tested both of these streams, and they both been very effective in our challenge. So it really comes down to how you want to work with your nutrition, right? The first stream, the one that we initially started the challenges with, was just looking at carbohydrates and keeping our net carbohydrates, which means your total carbs, including your fiber, which we try to get at least 30 grams of fiber per day, males in the 35 to 40, but the net carbs, your total carbs, and these are your non-veggie carbs, of course, because your green vegetables are absolutely fine, but I'm talking about counted carbohydrates. The ones on the list, all the free ones are your green ones, but all the ones that are left with spaces, those would count towards carbs. Your rices, your Ezekiel breads, stuff like that, you're going to count those. So in weeks 3 and 4, you would work to keep your net carbohydrates at 100 grams or less, in between 80 to 100 grams. Now we use those numbers because we know that when you take out the fiber, really you're down to, 50, well, if it's, 80 to 100, that means your non-fiber carbs are going to be between the 50 to 70, which is just a good amount of energy. These are good to go in either after your training or a split between before and after training. It's really not that much. The 100 grams basmati rice is about 30 grams of carbs. So you might get 100 grams of rice post-training, and maybe you have 100 grams before training, or maybe you save it for later on in the day. No real big issue there. Maybe you want to have a little bit of rice with your dinner. You're just looking to keep a control or keep a count on those carbohydrates, right? If you're gonna utilize fruits, you want to have them because it's a faster sugar. You want to have that post-training. But rice with dinner is absolutely great, looking at things like sweet potato. So you're just going to look at these different sources of carbohydrates that are on your authorized food list or your recommended food list, the ones that don't say free, and you're going to, hopefully you've given them some values, and you're going to put them together on a daily basis to achieve 100 grams, right? 100 grams net or less. And then in weeks 5 and 6, you're going to drop that down to the range. So we said 80 to 100. Now you're going to drop down. You're into the range of approximately 60 to 80. So you've got a little bit less coming in, and that it does still include your fiber. So you're 60 to 80. So now we've got a little bit of less carbs coming in. And then in our final week, 7 and 8, that's when you're going to drop down in and around the 40 to 60. So really you're going to look to high fiber type foods to give you your carbs on those days. And that's it. You're going to follow these, you'll follow those nutrition for 7 days a week. Just so in that third and fourth week, just 100 grams carbs per day for 7 days. And you're fine. In that range of 80 to 100, I would do the 100 on days that you're working out. And if you're not going to work out one day, I would probably drop it to 80. We'll talk about cheats in a minute too, right? Because that's usually going to be your Saturday every week or every other week, depending on where your body fat is. And it'll help you to sort of determine where that is. Can you get away? Can you not cheat? Well, you certainly have to, because we're going to start manipulating the carbs and the calories. And I want to make sure that the hormones are on board. And the hormones can quickly get off board if we don't spike them every now and then, right? If we don't get leptin going. And the way we do that is a high carbohydrate meal. We go in and we have, about 300 grams of carbs, 300 grams of carbs, maybe just a little bit more, up to maybe even 400. And you're looking at, 400 might be a little bit high. So I'd say around 300, but that's going to be your meal. That might be some pizza, that might be some burgers, that might be some cake or some ice cream. And what that's going to do is help reset leptin and get you right back into the fat burning zone. When you start to get carbs back into you next week, remember that a little bit of the weight loss that we've achieved in the first week here, a little bit of it was water. It is and it isn't, because we know that carbohydrates hold water. We know that 1 gram of carbohydrates holds 3 to 4 ounces of water, or 3 to 4 grams of water. So it's got a little bit of a weight to it. You cut the carbs out, the weight comes down. At the same time, you're all guzzling huge amounts of water. So we're offsetting that. So we have achieved some fat loss in the first week. Just know that a little bit of the weight is going to be the water weight. When you start to consume carbs as we get into the upcoming weeks here, your weight's going to go up and down, and that's totally fine. Where you're going to get more of an understanding of how the program is working for you is how your clothes fit. And I already have people in the first 7 days that are telling me their pants are getting looser, tops are getting looser, their rings a little bit looser. Things just fit better, they feel better, and they can already start to see a little bit of a change, usually in and around the neck area, right? Especially if you're carrying a little bit more weight in and around the neck area, that's usually one of the first places to go. And then depending on, how your body responds to this, in and around the waist and the hips and the arms, it's all going to start to change for you. So the idea of just the general amounts, 100 grams, 80 to 100, 60 to 80, and then 40 to 60. Some people like that because they just want to follow those numbers and they find it real easy for them. So if that's you, that's totally okay. And I'll ask you that as we get, probably by Wednesday, I'll have that report up and ready, and I'll start asking you where you want to be as far as numbers go. Okay. The other one, and we recently tested this, we've tested this for 2 challenges now and also had great results, is where we count direct macros. So direct macros, I'm basically going to take a look at your weight, take a look at your body type, whether you're the endomorph, ectomorph, or mesomorph. Take a look at how you did in the first week and 2 weeks, and any challenges that you're facing. And I will specifically give you numbers to achieve. So your protein could be anywhere in the range of 0.75 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Your fat is going to be a certain level. Your carbs are going to be a certain level, right? They're all going to be specific. So I might tell you eat 100 grams of protein, eat 93 grams of carbs, and eat 71 grams of fat. And it's going to be up to you to hit those numbers. So in the report that tells you that those are your numbers, you're going to see moderate carb days, you're going to see low carb days, you're going to see deplete days and deplete minus 20 days, and each of these is going to have a variation, a change. The protein may be the same or it may fluctuate, 5 to 10 grams. The carbs are going to fluctuate. Some days you might have 70, 80 grams of carbs. The next day you might have 30 to 40 grams of carbs, right? And you're going to go up and down as the different days in the week play along. And we're going to try to feed you more carbs on the days you work out, less carbs on the days that you don't work out because you just don't need them that much. And when your carbs drop, your fat's going to go up and your protein's going to go up. On that list that shows you all of these numbers here, you're also going to scroll down and you're going to say, well, do I eat 3, 4, 5, or 6 times a day? And based on that, it's going to give you the breakdowns. So if you eat 6 times a day, you're going to get your protein, fat, and carbs divided by 6, and it's going to tell you what the amount is for every single meal. You're then going to use your food guides and your sources, and you're going to track those direct macros. So what I mean by direct is the most predominant source of macro that at least 40 to 50% of that food item is made up by that either protein, carb, or fat. The only time that we would count 2 macros or 2 direct macros is if something is contributing over about 35%. And for example, I would use a whole egg. So in the case of a whole egg, you're in and around 6 grams of protein, 5 grams of fat. So in that case, we're almost equally contributing the amount of protein and fat, so I would count both of those. But in something like lean chicken or lean turkey, you're going to see that predominantly, for 100 grams of lean chicken, you might be getting 20 to 25 grams of protein and maybe 1 to 2 grams of fat. The fat is negligible. I would only count the protein towards what my daily goals are. I would not even pay attention to that fat because it's not even enough of a number for me. I would look at things like avocado. That would count strictly as a fat, or coconut oil, or fish oils. Those would all count strictly as those direct source macros. So some people like this because those are the analytical types. Those are the people that have already created 17 different Excel spreadsheets based on what day it is and what cycle of the lunar phase that we're in. That's just how they work, and that's totally cool. Some people can't do that. They don't like all those numbers. They don't like to change on a daily basis. They're going to get frustrated by that, constantly changing and trying to figure out what day it is and what does that mean based on what they're supposed to eat. And those people would do better with the general guidelines. Both of these have worked. We've had people in 6 weeks lose upwards of 35 pounds on both programs. So really, it comes down to who you are and what you think is going to be easier for you. Because if it's challenging to the point that you're going to give up on it, you're not going to follow the plan and you're not going to get results. So be realistic on how you sort of work, and let's pick one of those 2, and I'll ask you in a survey by Wednesday, and then I'll start to create your nutrition based on that, right? You're going to have success either way. The easier one is certainly going to be the general guidelines. However, if you want the specifics, I'm here to provide those for you as well. So that's that information on that. I'm going to start uploading by Wednesday. I'll get the website going. You're going to get more information. You'll be able to learn about healthy cheats. That's going to prepare you for Saturday. You're going to learn about fats and why we need fats, and how fats are going to help you lose fat. You're going to get basically all the guidelines that I've given in previous challenges. I've held off just because I don't want to have people confused. The information is there. You can peruse it at your own intent and desire. I mean, you can go through it whenever you have the time to do that. It's going to help you out. I just don't want it to confuse you. So if you get stuck on things, maybe just do one a day or one every 2 days. We have lots of time, and my intent, remember, is to help you understand by the end of 8 weeks, not by the end of week number 2. Okay, we have lots of time to do this. So here's our VitalBot plan. Hopefully people have been using this. A lot of people have, and I know some people have been jotting down in books and using MyFitnessPal, and that's all great. Just either take a screenshot with your phone, or do a screen capture with your computer. Take a picture with your phone, and don't email those in. Just upload them to our Facebook group. That's the easiest way to do it. If you're not on Facebook, I guess you have to email it in, or you can print it off and bring it in. That's totally fine as well. But if you upload it to our Facebook group, it does 2 things. One, we can sort of track it, and we can give you points for that. The other thing is it helps the other members out because they can see what everybody's eating, and it gives them ideas. And I think that's where we've been successful in week 1, is that everybody is seeing these these preparations, right? Especially if you've got into that Eat More, Burn More nutrition guide that I shared there, which is absolutely stunning with the amount of, the good food in it, the healthy food, and people are testing that out, and they're loving it, right? It's great stuff. If you've tried that turkey and peppers recipe, it's just phenomenal. So use that stuff there, but using this, hopefully you've got an idea of how it all goes here with the meal plans and the different custom foods, right? One of the ways that I find this is really, really fun and easy for me is the recipe section. So if you go in and put your custom foods first, right? This is where you're going to put all your specific little things that maybe aren't in Vitabot, or, maybe you've put something in Vitabot that doesn't really make sense. It's throwing your whole plan off. You put in female bacon, and it's got your calories and your fat through the roof. Just do a quick Google search on female bacon, and if it doesn't match up, then you know something's off, and then you may just enter it on your own or see if you can find another one. So if you do nutrition in PEAMEAL bacon, calories in female bacon. Spark People is a really good one too. MyFitnessPal is a good one. Calorie Count is a good one. Live Strong. These are all great ones here. Let's see what Spark People gives us for 100 grams. It's protein, but it is high fat too, so this is likely one that I would count both. Serving size 1 gram. I don't know who eats 1 gram of female bacon. Can I change this? Let me back out here to see if I can find one where I actually put the amount in. Calorie count. And this is giving us all different types. President's Choice, Great Canadian Female. Let's see what this gives us. 2 slices. I don't like slices. I'd rather go grams. There we go, 100 grams. So 100 grams, you can see here, and I think this is who I was speaking with tonight. She had some numbers in here that were just way off, because you don't know how big those slices are. So 100 grams, maybe you even go 200 grams, which is still an okay size. 280 calories, 12 grams of fat. You got the saturated fat, a little bit of the mono and the polyunsaturated fats. Cholesterol, be careful on the sodium here. You can see that's where female bacon sort of gets people. But maybe you've got a better low sodium version, and then you would just go and you would enter that in as far as food source. So in this case here, you can see that protein is 34 grams, total fat is 12 grams, makes up 280 calories. So you have to figure out the different how that makes up the calories in here, because we talked about getting over that 30 to 35 and then being able to count both. So in this case here, if I take 34 times 4 calories per, I'm going to see 136. If I take that 136 and divide it by 280 calories, right here, the total calories, it tells me that protein makes up 48.5% of this food item. So I'm going to count that, right? That's a pretty significant amount. Let's check out fat. Now, if I put in fat at 12 grams times 9 calories per, that's going to give me 108. I'm going to divide that by 280, and you can see here I'm at 38. So this is a food just like a prime rib would be, or a ribeye steak, where I would count the protein and I would count the fat in this. If you look at the carbohydrates, 6 grams times 4 calories per is 24. Divide that by 280. You can see it makes up 8.5% insignificant. So if you're doing the direct counting macros version, I would simply put this down as a fat and a protein and count those two towards my daily requirements and daily totals. Hopefully that's helped you out. So use the package to sort of see how much it's in here. So once you've got all your little custom foods put in there, remember I showed you I've got a whole whack in here, my branch chains, avocados, almond milk, vanilla, the kind that I buy, Cleanse for Life isogenic stuff, the butter oil, cod liver oil, stuff that I buy, frozen spinach, Arctic greens. I like to put all my brands in here because it just helps me be a little bit more accurate in the foods that I'm using. Then what I do is I go to the recipes and I create these common recipes. So in this case, you can see here that I had 2 breakfast that I would fluctuate between, and this is when I was using this for a fitness competition. So I would have breakfast that consisted of oats and breakfast that would consist of eggs, and I would float them back and forth on day-to-day basis. I would have various snacks, right? I had a chicken snack, turkey snack, and a meat snack, and that was just the amount of meat, chicken, and turkey that I had, because I believe they were all still with mixed vegetables or just greens. And then I had a chicken meal with sweet potato, a turkey with sweet potato, meat with sweet potato. I had a chicken with rice, because I was floating between sweet potato and rice as my only carb sources. So you can see here that I've got a turkey and rice and a meat and rice. I've got a post-training shake, I've got a pre-bed snack, I've got a fish snack. So then all I have to do once I've built these is throw them in my day. So when I open that up, you can see this meal of chicken and sweet potato was 150 grams of chicken it was 200 grams of sweet potato, and it was a half a cup of broccoli. And it's all put together there for me. I've got a reminder here of what it is. I've got one serving, and then all I have to do is click add to meal plan, and it's looking at Monday here is the day that I'm on, and I would just add that in as, you know, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and I posted about that recently, and it adds it in. So that's Monday. If I'm on, maybe I come down to Thursday. So go to Thursday here. I'm set up in Thursday. I go to my recipes, and maybe in Thursday, that's when I'm going to have the meat and rice meal. I'm going to add that to my meal plan. You can see I'm still on Thursday. All I have to do is click lunch and submit, and I've just added it to this day here, right? So I just go to the day that I want, and I go over to my recipe. So I have chicken, veggies, and broccoli for breakfast. I go to my recipes. This is where I'm going to have a snack of turkey. Add that to the meal plan. Snack number 1, submit. Cool. I'm going to go back to recipes, and I'm going to have a meat and rice meal. I'm going to click on that. Add that. That's going to go in here under lunch. Submit. So I've had chicken, beef. I'm going to have turkey for dinner. So I'm going to go back over to recipes, and I'm going to find that turkey and sweet potato. I'm going to add that to my dinner. Hit submit. That goes in. So I've got some chicken, beef steak. I've got a snack of turkey. I'm going to make snack number 2 my fish snack. So I'm going to go back to recipes. I'm going to go to snack fish, add to meal plan, come in here to snack number 2, hit submit. That goes in there, and I'm going to go, what have I had? Turkey and fish as snacks. So let's look at maybe a meat snack, if I've got a meat snack. Snack meat, perfect. So click on that, and that's just broccoli and beef, right? And I throw some different seasoning on there to give it a little bit of a flavor, a little bit of a change up. I hit that, submit. So I'm good to go. I'm getting really good on my vitamins and minerals over here. I can see that my carbs are up at 240. Now remember, this was a different plan that I was following. Part of that is going to be from my vegetables, but I'm getting a lot of carbs in and around my training times for the event, the competition that I was preparing for. So yours are obviously, you're following a different program. My protein is up high in the 238s. My fat's in and around the 57s, nice and controlled. The only other things that I would add in here would be my my post-training shake. I'm going to take and I'm going to add that usually first thing in the morning. Snack number 1, submit, and recipes. I'm going to come down here and find my pre-bed snack, which was a banana and more protein. Add that to the meal plan. Call that snack 3 if I want, just to get it in my list. And just like that, I've created my entire day. All I have to do is go and hit the shopping list if I got to buy this food, or the printer-friendly version, and buy it. But you can see how quickly I did that, right? Now, if I like this day here, so maybe on Monday, right, this was a really good setup for me. I enjoyed it. I felt that I had enough food. I felt that I had high energy. I'm achieving my goals by following this program here. I can take and I can repeat this day. So I click all those. I go to copy, and maybe next Monday I want to do the exact same thing. I just come over here and hit paste, and just like that, I've just created next Monday. So you can see how fast you can really champion your nutrition and take charge of it. And you know what? And if you don't like things, maybe I'm sick of beefsteak, I can just come over here and hit delete, and I can go find something different to fit into that time slot there. Maybe I want more, maybe I want fish, maybe I want eggs to go in there. So I can go find myself some eggs and add them into lunch and make that a great meal as well. So it really is such a brilliant program once you sit down and you sort of get the hang of it. Remember, don't pay much attention to the calories, because it doesn't know that we're using it for a little bit of a specific reason. The carbs, again, don't worry. The protein is going to say too high. The fat's going to say it's too high. So don't worry too much about this top part here. Sure, you want to know where your sodium is at and your cholesterol. You want to make sure that they're controlled. Saturated fat, because the coconut oil is going to be a little bit on the higher side. We understand that. That's okay. Fiber, make sure you're getting it up to the levels that you need to. So it looks like here I've got 32 grams. My recommended amount is 38 for a male of my age and activity level. So I'd want to get a little bit more fiber in there. And when I get my fish oil supplements, those things would go through the roof too. Don't be too concerned about omega-6. It's more of an inflammatory oil. I'd look at the omega-3. And if I want my fiber, if you weren't on last week's one, I can see where they're coming from right here. So I click on that. And if I scroll down, it'll tell me all these things here are really high in fiber. And all I have to do is click on one to add it. Remember, the length of the blue line is an indication of how much it will improve your score based on what's in that food item there. So if there's anything in here that I might try out, there's some artichokes, right? I could add some artichoke, one stuffed globe. I would add that maybe into my lunch. Get that in there, and all of a sudden my fiber is now an A. So I'm bang on. I'm hitting my fiber with good healthy foods. And that's why I love this thing here. My niacin's up because of the amount of wheat I'm consuming. My vitamin C is a little bit low. If I click on my vitamin C that day, you can see that I'm getting from these. But if I come down here, I can see what I can take to get more vitamin C into me. And vitamin E. And I can get rid of all foods. Maybe I just want to go vegetables. What vegetables are great for vitamin E? And you can see here that tomato juice, spinach is good, carrots are good, broccoli, squash, beans, tomato paste, all the stuff here, really good for vitamin E. So find something that's good for you. There's good old broccoli. Oh, that's got cheese sauce, so be careful of that, right? That could be, well, maybe if it's made good, that's all right. So that's VitaBot, right? And that's how it helps you out. Fit clients here, it looks like Becky's got most of you added in here to the program. She can see here that hopefully your name is there. She's added you in, which is good, but a lot of you haven't started using the program, right? So remember, you got to go in here and you've got to create your goals and you've got to be accountable, set up that email system. It's just another reminder to get your numbers put in here, and you can put in so many goals. You can put in weight related goals, inches related goals, body fat related goals. It is totally up to you. If we look at a custom report of all members so far based on weight, just in this first 2 weeks here, and this is probably going to give me, well, it'll probably give me everybody, but you can see just like this, I can pull up your names, I can see where you are, where you're going, and what you've done. So we only have so many people plugged in. Hopefully we get more. And remember, if you want to make it fun, you can go in here and you can do group goals, you can do team contests, allow your clients to join teams and compete against each other. So maybe we'll use that when we get into the teams at the end of this week. And I'm going to ask you about that on your questionnaire too. So it's going to be, what nutrition plan do you want to be on? And do you want to be on a team? Remember, the team is just for the fun stuff. So week number 3 is a team. You got to create a design, a banner for your Facebook wall. And you got to put that on there, and all the likes get your team points. And then the next week's going to be, I think, designing a workout with your team that will lead on a Sunday with Tammy. And 2 teams will go. And then the next week, the other 2 teams will go. And then one of the team challenges is just a fun outside of boot camp fitness event. So it could be bowling, it could be a run, it could be a walk, it could be a swim, it could be tobogganing, anything that gets you out moving with some of your new friends, hopefully from boot camp. Really cool stuff. So that's all it is. Really, really great. It's just additional accountability and fun. So you can create, you can do that for the team. And then for the group goals, this could be you and a friend that you're doing the challenge with. So I know there are several of you doing this challenge together, whether you're sisters or cousins or coworkers or friends. Why not set a group goal between the 2 of you? If you lose so much weight or so much inches or so much body fat, the 2 of you are going to go out for, a special dinner or a special movie or a treat, or do something really cool with each other because you did it. So you're going to hold each other accountable to that, right? And that's a really, really fun way that you can use that program there. This is just your scheduling site, as you know, right? You can see your calendar. Hopefully you're using our handheld app now, because that's really easy to schedule your sessions and get in, and you can see more and more people are scheduling sessions right now. So that's really positive. And so far that might be sort of everything that I'm thinking of right now. I know more stuff's coming to you on Wednesday, Thursday, getting those questionnaires out and getting you some more info. So based on all of that, what sort of things are going through your guys' minds here? That was a good 40-minute sort of spiel by me. But if you've got a question, go ahead and throw it up, type it up on there, and I'll see if I can answer it for you. And you know that there's probably somebody else that has the same question. Can we use coconut powder instead and put it in our shakes? You certainly can. It's the absolute best form is the raw, cold pressed coconut oil because it's its natural form. It's untouched. When we start to manipulate things and we change things, um, it loses a little bit of its value. So if you're going to use a coconut powder, you might have to use just a little bit more. Will it be as powerful? Maybe not, but I'm sure it's still giving you some benefit to utilizing it, right? So it's still very, very clean. Give it a shot, and you know what? If it helps you get a good healthy fat into you, then I'm all for it. That's great. I know with the coconut powder that I have here that we're looking to, and I'll ask you guys on the forum there if you want me to purchase some for you guys too, is the Quest version. They've just come up with an MCT oil, which is a component of coconut oil, and a coconut oil, and they're in powder format. One scoop is approximately 7 grams saturated fat, which is half of what you normally get in a tablespoon. So you're consuming 3 to 4 times more volume-wise to get the same amount. And you know what, I found it's pretty good. It's good for baking with and cooking and putting in shakes and in coffee. So certainly, if that's going to help you. A deplete workout, good question. So because we're going to go do a cheat, oftentimes a deplete workout is a sort of a trick. It's a way that you can prime your body to shuttle the oncoming carbohydrates, the glucose and the sugar that you're going to have from consuming these carbohydrates into muscle, as a fuel and potential energy source, rather than as excess calories and as fat. So the idea is before you go consume these carbohydrates, because the likelihood is you're going to have some fast absorbing carbohydrates, is that you want to basically wring the sponge out. And if you think about your muscles as a sponge, if you do a great workout, a high intensity workout, so that's why we're going to lead you through one. This is only for challengers, and we've added on as a bonus for you guys, but the Saturday afternoon one, or you can do it at home. Grab any one of those at-home workouts in the guide, and I'll try to find it, or you can search it in our Facebook group. I'll show you that search function again. You can do one of those. It's just a 10, 15, 20-minute high-intensity, full-out workout that will activate some hormones within the body, one of them being the GLUT4 hormone. It also depletes glycogen stores within the muscle, which primes you. Then if you take that sponge and throw it in water and it's all wrung out, it will quickly absorb and refill itself. So we're doing that with muscle tissue by squeezing out, by burning up all the stored glucose and glycogen within, all the energy within the muscle, and priming that GLUT4 hormone, so that then we go consume that high carbohydrate meal within the next 90 minutes, the body is going to grab those carbs and quickly shuttle them into muscle tissue as potential energy for the next day versus storing it as fat. So if you can't make it in, yeah, really, and this comes from the 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss. You can go into a bathroom stall, and he would do this, right? So he would go to the restaurant, he'd go into the bathroom stall, and he would do 100 air squats, which is basically just body weight squats. He would do 100 push-ups against the wall, and he used to carry around this little exercise band, and he would do 100 band pull-aparts. So he'd hold on to the band and basically pull the hands away from each other, and this would be enough to raise his metabolism and basically prime him to consume and get those good carbs coming in. So that's the point and purpose of the deplete workout, previous or before the upcoming cheat meal. Can I have too much water? I'm at 5 liters today without trying. You can have too much water, but 5 liters is not enough. I'm going to bring this up for you here just so you can see it. The word that you're looking for is hyponatremia, which is a sodium offset because of the water. You can basically get drunk by drinking too much water too fast. Hyponatremia. So here it is. Mayo Clinic or Wikipedia probably has a great definition of it as well. And there it is there. Condition occurs when the level of sodium in your blood is abnormally low because it's an electrolyte. And basically what it is either a medical condition or drinking too much water during endurance sports, which causes sodium in your body to become diluted, water levels rise, and the treatment is aimed at resolving underlying condition or basically not drinking that much water. Last I read, if I'm correct, is around 16 liters in a short amount of time. Let's see if that brings that up as a cause here. Normal sodium levels, medications, too much water. Drinking too much water other times can cause endurance activities. Because endurance activities, where this comes from is because you're sweating out, you're losing electrolytes and sodium because of the exercise. So that's an issue there. Ecstasy. Hopefully nobody's doing that. Risk factors. But the amount, if I recall correctly, is in around 16 liters. So if you're going to sit down and drink that much water in a short amount of time, then yeah, you'll basically get the symptoms of feeling drunk because of that sodium. And it is very, very dangerous, so do take it seriously. But 5 liters is certainly not enough to set you off. 5 liters in like 20 minutes is probably a little bit more of an issue there. Let me see if I can get you that amount because I want to know too. This is all going to tell us about sodium and sodium amounts. Causes, diagnosis, signs, symptoms, cirrhosis, vomiting, beer, 12 or more liters of water in a day. Urine solute decrease huge quantities of water exceeds the body's ability to produce it. Typically occurs when 12 or more liters of water are ingested per day. So 12 liters, 12 I've read 16, I'm sure somewhere else. So you're totally fine at 5 liters. No big problem, right? How do I make my body stop retaining all the water that I'm drinking? It's going in but not coming out. Hey, that's a great question too. Take a look at the sodium in your food. Or if you're adding salt, stop adding salt. If you're eating high sodium foods, which really you shouldn't because vegetables aren't naturally high sodium. Some meats may be, especially if you're doing the, we just talked about there with the female bacon, or bacon in general can be high sodium, so be very careful on that. Look to mineral salts, Himalayan sea salts. Sea salt's a little bit better because it's not bleached, but usually if you're retaining water, 2 reasons. One of them, during menstruation, you can retain more water, right? As your body's dealing with blood loss, you're trying to increase blood volume and it'll hold more water, and that's why you can potentially sway that 5 to 9 pounds. But if you're adding salt or eating high salt foods, that's another way that you can be retaining water. You shouldn't be. With the amount of water that we're consuming, you should be basically hypercharging your kidneys to really start pushing water out. You want to make sure that every time you pee, you're basically clear to very, very faint light yellow. If you've got a dark yellow or a strong odor to your urine, then you're not drinking enough water, potentially dehydrated. If it adds a sweet smell to it, then we have other concerns related to, potential diabetes issues. So just be safe on that. It shouldn't be yellow and it shouldn't have a strong smell to it. Retaining water. Yeah, that's really the big reasons on that. Unless there's issues with, there shouldn't be, but issues with how your body handles water, right? Maybe there's a medical condition that's causing you to store more water. Most often, it's people are just consuming way too much sodium. It's hidden in foods that they're eating, and it shouldn't be. And I know vegetables, you're not going to get any. Your fruits, you're not trace amounts. Your chicken, your turkey, your fish should be very, very little. It's more your lean meats might have a little more, especially just as a sort of a preservative, depending on how you're getting your meats. I know a lot of the boxed meats will have added sodium because it allows it to allows the meat to last a little bit more, a little longer without going bad on you. What else are you guys thinking about? What other challenges or questions might you have? Whether it's related to Vitabot or fit clients or scheduling or workouts or whatever else. How many workouts a day do you need? Really, the program is designed to get you what you need in a 30-minute workout. If you go in and give 100%, that's great. Maybe go for a walk later on the day if you want to keep moving. I wouldn't too often do multiple workouts, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks just as a challenge. But more is oftentimes not better. We talked about boiling water at one of the orientation meetings, and we know water boils at that 100 degrees, and it doesn't boil any better at 101. So it's what we call the minimum effective dose. How much can we do to bring about the change that we're looking for? And oftentimes, if you work out too much, you're going to have issues because you're going to border on overtraining. The stress to the body, you can start to have cortisol issues. Might affect your sleep. It might be too much muscle breakdown. Right when you work out, you're breaking down muscle tissue. If you're working out doing multiples too many times, you might be breaking down too much muscle tissue, and that's also going to drop your metabolism and make burning fat even harder. So remember, the goal is not just to burn fat, but it's to build muscle, because muscle naturally burns more calories. It fuels, it eliminates more calories. It's so active that just sitting there, you're burning calories, your metabolism goes up. I saw in one of the other challenges, um, people were eating pepperettes, either European or turkey pepperettes. They have too much sodium. It all depends on the type. Some of them are good. They have low sodium. Some of them have a lot of sodium. I wouldn't base my whole diet around pepperettes. I would look to natural foods, but it is a great meat and a great protein source time to time, so you can indulge in those there. Just be very aware of the sodium. Same thing with, what's that other type of meat? Comes in a bag. Jerky, beef jerky, right? Really, really high in protein. Very, very good stuff. And oh man, there's so many flavors now. Just be aware, because you got to look at the sodium, but also you have to look at all the preservatives and flavoring in that package. And if you watch the video that I put up the other day about shopping, you start getting beyond 5 ingredients, you're really starting to fall away from natural foods, and your body is having a harder time to understand what's going on and how to utilize this stuff to make you healthy and get you the results that you're looking for. Number one snack protein is going to be your eggs, your hard-boiled eggs, whether you eat all of the yolks or not. If you're doing the organic eggs, they're not as bad, but I might eat 2 full eggs and then 2 egg whites or something like that. But they're just an easy snack. 2 hard-boiled eggs before bed is absolutely brilliant for protein, for healthy fats, for giving you the building blocks to basically build the body you want while your body rests and sleeps and regenerates. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should we be taking casein before bed? I heard it's a slow-releasing protein that's good for muscle recovery while you sleep. Casein protein. Yes. So casein is an egg-based protein. There's whey protein, which is more from your milk. It's a byproduct of milk creation and development, and cheeses. And casein is more along the lines of egg. It is a slow release. Whey protein, the whey isolates are very, very fast absorbing, so you want them post-training to get it in your body. But if you can find a good casein protein before bed, that's a nice slow release for you as well, similar to just having the eggs and the fat, which is natural. So maybe every other night you have a casein shake before bed, and that might help you too. You can mix it with water if you want. You can mix it with unsweetened almond milk. I probably wouldn't have it right before bed though. Usually you try to stop drinking fluids about an hour and a half to 2 hours before bed, because you don't want to be interrupted in your sleep by waking up in the middle of the night to start, to go have to pee and whatnot. Suggested on casein protein. Let me just take a quick look at what ours carry. Because I think Quest Protein has a blend. I know the 3 that we normally have are blended. Look at that, they got a cookies and cream now. That's dangerous, man. Oh man. There's the MCT oil, the good healthy fats. Description. So the Quest is a whey protein isolate and a micellar casein. So it is a combination of the two, and a milk protein isolate. So this would only be for people who are wouldn't be for people who are finding that they're maybe milk intolerant or can't deal with whey. So it does have some casein in here, and usually the way that this works out is the first item is the most predominant, and then the next is the next most amount. So micellar casein being second, and then whey protein isolate being third is probably quite fine in here. You can see it does have some other additives in there, less than 2% of the following: coconut oil. So predominantly it is just a protein, and then you get some of this sort of stuff that allows it to sit on shelf a little bit longer, right? And it doesn't break down as fast or become useless. It does have some sucralose in there. It does have some stevia as well, and it's got some coconut in it. The other brand is... let's see if we can bring this up. I think BioTrust has a blended as well. Ingredients. So this one here has got casein as number 1. So this is probably a better pre-bed one, and this is 4 grams net carbs as well. This one just a little bit cleaner, I think, than the Quest. Milk protein concentrate, whey protein concentrate, inulin coca, sunflower cream or sunflower, sea salt, xanthan gum, stevia leaf. So this doesn't have the sucralose in it, but it's another milk product there. So that's 2, and then I think the last one that we use is the Isogenics Isopro. See, this is the Isoline Pro, which is more of a meal replacement, but the Isopro itself, actually I think that one is just a protein. I don't think it is, there it is. Ingredients. Whey protein concentrate. Yeah, so this is just a strict whey protein concentrate. This is a post-training. So the BioTrust is an alright brand. I'm sure you could look up any, just a casein protein. I didn't spell that right. Brand is that? GNC brand. So the On Nutrition. Optimal Nutrition is a great brand as well. So GNC's got that stuff there. Just a straight out casein, probably just fine. There's some benefits of casein protein. You can see there. It's going to talk all about sleep and just prolonged release or slow release protein. Yeah, longer lasting. Amino acids last for hours. Right. What else are you guys thinking about? Any more questions? Almost been about an hour, but I can stick around if anything's sort of on your mind, you're not too sure about something, you want to know more, just go ahead and ask. If not, the Facebook group is always a great place to ask questions because there's probably a bunch of people wondering the exact same thing. Hopefully you're getting good sleep too, right? Setting the alarms, getting to bed, getting the electronics turned off, getting good uninterrupted sleep. That's how your body's going to get stronger, right? Rebuild. I don't see any more questions. Let's stick around for another minute or so. If not, we'll check out. I'll get this recorded for everybody else. I do appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Hopefully you've learned something from it. If something comes up, remember, ask it on the forum if you can. If it's more personal, you can message me on Facebook. You can send me an email at sean@kawarthafitness.com. We can meet at the studio and chat. Totally up to you. I'm here to help you guys out, and I want to see you succeed. A lot of people doing really good already. Remember, the average weight loss in week 1 was 3.5 pounds. Some people did 1, some people did 4 and 5. It's really irrelevant because everybody is different. So as long as I see a bonus. I see 2 bonuses. One of them, if you lost a pound, great, you're moving in the right direction because 50 weeks at a pound a week is 50 pounds lost, which is absolutely awesome. And you know what? If you didn't gain any weight, then that's awesome too. So saying that you didn't lose any weight is one way to look at it, but seeing you didn't gain any weight, that's another greater way to do it. And if you look at how long it took you to put on the weight and how the last 8 weeks to 8 months to 8 years have gone with your challenges to lose the weight, I think if we've stopped you from gaining weight in as little as 1 week, then we're moving in the right direction. So we always talk about the locomotive or the runaway train. If it's been 20 years of eating like terrible, to be able to help you lose weight in 1 week might not be realistic. But if I can slow your momentum, the runaway train momentum of gaining weight, so you stop gaining weight and then you pause neutral, and then you start losing weight by the end of the challenge, I dare say we're moving you in the right direction. And then all you have to do is continue to follow. Some people, as I've said, have done multiple challenges. Some this is their first. Some will only do one, and that's totally fine. Some people find the accountability is what they enjoy, and that little bit of camaraderie and challenge, sort of a bonus above the boot camp, and they like that. And they find that sometimes the first challenge they're just getting it at the end. The second challenge they totally rock it out, and then the third challenge, I mean, they're basically almost one of the coaches because they know what's happening, right? And they know what we expect, and they're really in tune with their body. Everybody's a little bit different, so I'm not going to have all the answers for everybody, but I will certainly work with you to the best of my ability to make sure that you do get great results, because I want to be able to put your before and after up on our wall and share your success story with others, and just keep our train of helping people moving forward. So I've got a couple of you left on here. If you've got any questions, go ahead, shoot them my way. If not, we might wrap her up. I'll give you another minute or two. Anything comes to mind, go ahead and ask. Let me know how I can help you. All right. Hey, thank you, Angela. If anything comes to mind, go ahead and shoot it up on that Facebook group or send me a message. I'm going to close this out tonight. Again, I appreciate you guys getting on board here. It seems to be the same people every week. And from previous challenges, I can tell you right now that it's going to be you guys who get great results, because you take that 1 hour just to learn a little bit more, and there's always going to be something that you get. And I could give the same talk for 8 weeks, and you're always going to hear something a little bit differently and learn something a little bit more each time. So it's an investment in you, and that's awesome. Have a great night, everybody.